Star Wars Battlefront. We've all seen the trailer for the new Star Wars game by now, and if you weren't completely amazed and super hyped about it, then it's likely you're not a Star Wars fan. In that case, then what I'm going to say probably won't make a difference or make any sort of impact on you. Now normally I would never make a rant video, and I never intended to when I rebooted this channel, but seeing how it's game related I decided to make an exception. I want to share some of my opinions about the Star Wars Battlefront trailer and the game itself. Even though opinions are like farts, everyone has them and no one minds their own brand, but I digress. Star Wars Battlefront is scheduled to be released in November of this year for all of the heavy-hitting current-gen consoles and PC, and the trailer was released earlier this week. It's a cinematic trailer, of course, which most companies produce when they want to advertise their new game, and it seems like a lot of effort has been put into making it. And I'd say that effort has paid off. The trailer looks amazing and has created an enormous amount of hype, which sometimes makes people forget about the actual game. Fortunately for all of us, smarter people than I like to research the game of every perk and every fault, and I think in this case, the faults outweigh the perks. Rather than being a sequel to Star Wars Battlefront 2, which was an idea that was scrapped shortly after its release, this is a remake of the original Battlefront. I've based a short list of things that will not be included in the game, based off an article I found on Reddit that you can read in the link in the description. Number 1. No single-player campaign. When this was brought to my attention, it didn't really irritate me. Even though the Battlefront missions can be completed offline, solo with bots, it's technically not a campaign. And at first I thought, oh, it's like what they did with Titanfall. It's not the best way to convey the story of the game, but it makes do with voiceovers during the missions, short cutscenes, and exchanges of dialogue before and after the level. And that's not a huge deal. It's something that myself and most of the gaming community can live with. It's not the first time this style of game has been done, and it won't be the last. Number 2. No space battles. Frankly, this pisses me off to no end. There were days when I would put all the space levels in a playlist and just entertain myself with those missions on repeat for the entire day. They were without a doubt the icing on the cake for Battlefront 2. Why EA and DICE have stripped this game of the most amazing game mode is by far the most idiotic decision I've ever heard. Number 3. Only 4 playable planets. Anyone else remember a similar disappointment? Destiny. In Destiny, there was only 1 playable area per planet or moon. Granted, they were semi-large areas, but it was pretty stupid to be confined to one single region rather than travel from location to location on the same planet. Now my guess is that in Battlefront, there may be at the very least 2 playable areas per planet, but it's still a lazy excuse on EA to have only 4 planets rather than Battlefront 2's original 15 planets, 2 spaceship maps, a second area on Tatooine, plus the 6 space maps. They had to cut out 12 of the 15 planets and added in an extra one that no one cares about. Way to go with the bare minimum. Number 4. No Clone Wars. I'll spare you the details of the fun I had when I had enough kills in Battlefront 2 to play as a droideka, go around spawn camping the enemy team with my overpowered shield. But that's probably the most entertained 10-year-old me was. The fact that there's no gameplay of backstory as to how the Galactic Empire came to be is disappointing to say the least. Number 5. Most vehicles are non-playable. Yet another amazing feature to be stripped of the finished rebooted product. Don't you remember driving the AT-AT at the Battle of Hoth and destroying the shield generator and everything else in your path? It was almost as enjoyable as the space battles considering you were next to invincible, but it seems that they have stripped the game of this feature as well. Now I know this video isn't going to change anything. People are going to buy it because it brings on nostalgic feelings and has Star Wars in the title. And with Episode 7 on its way, the marketing for this game could not be more perfect to get EA and DICE some extra cash. And as much as I would like to start a boycott for this game so that maybe the developers would change it for the better, like what happened at E3 with Microsoft when they announced the Xbox One and all of its lovely features, people will forget about the hashtag No Pre-Orders 2015 movement that everyone was on board with for about 2 days, and we'll end up with another Assassin's Creed Unity in our hands. A buggy game that controls like ass, with no story, and $80 less in our pocket.